Lawmakers will now work to ensure their rural communities get the support that they need from that final measure. RFD-TV's Sarah Mock has the story.
Despite billions already spent on America's opioid epidemic, lawmakers continue to take action.
The opioid crisis is still on the rise. The number of OD deaths are still increasing in many parts of the country. Every community is experiencing challenges with the opioid crisis.
The Opioid Response Act, passed by the Senate this week, is a comprehensive package of 70 bipartisan bills described by leadership as landmark action.
This legislation that 72 of the 100 members of this body have made a contribution to. They're not just co-sponsoring it. They have a piece of this bill.
The measure includes funding and support for treatment, prevention, law enforcement tools, and research into non-addictive treatments, and will help provide resources to ongoing projects across the country, particularly in rural areas.
In Newport, USDA is investing more than $150,000 to convert the former Jackson County Jail into the White River Women's Shelter. This facility will help individuals recovering from opioid misuse and provide prevention, recovery, and treatment services to combat the opioid epidemic in the region.
As the bill moves towards the president's desk, rural legislators fight for a few final provisions, including the extension of a program allowing nurses and physician's assistants to prescribe opioid treatment medications, which have been a boon to rural areas that often lack doctors.
More than 8,000 physician assistants and nurse practitioners have registered to provide medically assisted treatment. And that has resulted in more Americans accessing this life-saving care, especially in community health centers and rural communities across this country.
Though both chambers have a busy fall ahead, the broad support for this legislation so far has lawmakers optimistic that a bill could be signed this year. Alexander says his goal is to get something to the president's desk by early October. For RFD-TV, I'm Sarah Mock in Washington.
Thank you, Sarah. Well, a funding package passed early this year allocated $4.7 billion to opioid recovery programs, and lawmakers do say they expect another $4 billion will be approved for fiscal year 2019. More than 300,000 Americans have died of opioid overdose since the year 2000. Well, a Georgia farmer wins